Talk to Fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Talk to Fluency, the podcast that helps you take your English to the next level, one conversation at a time. I'm Emma, your guide to sounding more natural, fluent, and confident in English.
And I'm Alex. Thanks for joining us today. We're diving into one of the most requested and honestly most frustrating topics for English learners, understanding native speakers when they speak fast.
Oh yes. You've probably had this experience. You're watching a movie or talking to a native speaker, and suddenly they start speaking so quickly that you catch maybe 2 words.
It's like, did they just swallow half the sentence? Don't worry, we've all been there. In today's episode, we're going to explore why this happens, and we'll give you practical strategies to help you understand natural, fast-paced English.
And by the end of this episode, you'll not only understand the why, but also feel more confident tackling fast conversations in real life. Let's get into it.
So let's start with the root of the problem. Why do native speakers sound so fast? Are they actually speaking faster, or does it just feel that way to learners?
Great question. It's not that every native speaker is a speed talker. It's more about rhythm, reductions, and how words are blended together. English is a stress-timed language, which means we stress certain syllables and rush through others.
Exactly. For example, in a sentence like I'm going to go to the store, you'll often hear it reduced to something like I'm gonna go to the store. You barely hear each word.
And if you learned English from textbooks, or apps that pronounce every word clearly, real-life speech sounds totally different.
So the key takeaway is, it's not about speed, it's about connected speech, which brings us to our next point.
Connected speech is a game changer. Native speakers don't pause between every word, they link them. That's why "what are you doing" turns into "what you're doing."
Or "did you eat" becomes "jeet." I remember the first time someone said that to me, I literally thought it was a new slang word.
Yeah, it's tricky. The thing is, native speakers aren't doing this to confuse anyone, it's just how the language naturally flows.
So if you want to understand native speech, you've got to train your ear to hear these linked, blended sounds. Don't expect textbook clarity in the real world.
A huge mistake many learners make is reading while they listen. Don't get me wrong, subtitles are helpful, but they should come after the listening part, not before.
Right. If you always watch movies with subtitles, you're reading, not training your ear. Try this instead: watch a short scene with no subtitles. Then watch it again with subtitles. Then one more time without.
Yes. This builds listening skills in layers. Your brain starts recognizing patterns, sounds, and even accents.
Don't worry if you don't catch everything the first time. That's totally normal. It's the repetition that makes it stick.
Shadowing is one of the most powerful tools out there. You listen to a native speaker and repeat after them in real time, with the same rhythm and tone.
It's like karaoke for language learners. You're not just copying the words, you're copying the melody of the language.
Start with just 10 seconds of audio. Pause, rewind, repeat. Over time, your pronunciation, intonation, and understanding will dramatically improve.
And don't worry if you sound silly. That's part of the process. It's like training your vocal muscles to speak English naturally.
Now let's talk about reductions, things like gonna, wanna, gotta, lemme, gimme. They are used constantly in conversation.
And if you don't know them, you'll miss half the sentence. Like, I'm gonna go grab a bite. That means I am going to go eat.
Exactly. So start a list of common reductions and phrases. Practice saying them out loud so your brain gets used to hearing and producing them.
It's not about being perfect. It's about being familiar with the real spoken rhythm of English.
If you only listen to slow, scripted English, you'll never get comfortable with real-life speed. Switch it up.
Try podcasts, YouTube vlogs, Netflix shows, street interviews. Real conversations, not just teacher voice.
And choose content you enjoy. If you love food, watch food vlogs. Into sports, watch post-game interviews. You'll absorb way more when you're interested.
Plus, you'll hear slang, idioms, and cultural expressions which are gold for understanding natural speech.
Don't just listen once and move on. Repetition is your friend. Find a short video or audio clip and listen to it 5 times over several days.
Each time, you'll catch new words and sounds you missed before. The first listen is for the general idea. The second for details. The third for pronunciation, and so on.
You can even write down what you hear, then check with subtitles to see how close you were. It's great for developing active listening skills.
Here's another powerful shift: stop learning one word at a time. Instead, learn in chunks.
For example, instead of memorizing the word take, learn the whole phrase take your time, or take a nap.
That's how native speakers speak in word groups. So when you hear them speak fast, your brain won't have to process each word. It'll recognize the whole chunk.
And you'll respond faster too, because you'll think in phrases, not individual words.
Alright, real talk, there will be times when you don't understand what someone said. And that's okay.
Yes. Don't panic. Don't feel embarrassed. Even native speakers ask each other to repeat things.
Instead, practice saying, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" or "If I didn't catch that last part." These are fluent phrases too.
Fluency isn't about knowing every word. It's about handling the conversation with confidence. Understanding fast English takes time, but the good news is, a little bit every day adds up fast.
Even 10 to 15 minutes a day of focused listening can make a big difference in a few weeks.
Celebrate your progress. Today you understood a sentence you missed last week. That's a win.
Consistency beats perfection. Keep going and your ear will naturally get faster. Yes. One big mistake is trying to do too much at once. If you suddenly study for 3 hours in one day and then nothing for the rest of the week, you'll feel burnt out fast.
Exactly. It's better to study for 20 minutes every day than 3 hours once a week. Another mistake is only doing passive activities like watching videos without speaking, writing, or interacting.
Right. Passive input is helpful, but if you want to speak better, you have to practice speaking. That could be shadowing, talking to yourself, or using a language exchange app.
So remember, be consistent, mix active and passive practice, and don't aim for perfection. Aim for progress.
By the way, we've been hearing from some of you about how you're practicing English every day and the stories are so inspiring.
Yes. Like Camila from Brazil. She told us she listens to one podcast episode on her walk to school every morning, and then repeats some of the phrases out loud.
And Rakesh from India started a 30-day writing challenge. Every night, he writes a short paragraph in English about his day and checks it with a grammar app.
We love these stories because they prove that you don't need a fancy course or hours of free time. Just small, daily habits, that's the real magic. Alright, Alex, Since next week we're focusing on understanding native speakers when they talk fast, let's give our listeners a little sneak peek today.
Great idea, Emma. One of the reasons native speakers sound so fast is because of something called connected speech. That means they don't pronounce every word fully. Instead, words often run together.
Exactly. For example, instead of saying, "What are you going to do?" you might hear, "What you gonna do?" It's like the words blend into each other.
Learning to recognize these patterns can really help you catch more when listening. So start paying attention to how words link and change in everyday conversation.
And don't worry if it feels tricky at first. Like any skill, it gets easier with practice.
Now, let's share some practical tips for when you're listening to fast English, whether in movies, podcasts, or real conversations.
Tip number 1. Don't try to understand every single word. Focus on the overall meaning and key words.
Tip 2. Use subtitles or transcripts if you can. Listen first without them, then listen again while reading.
Tip 3. Practice chunking. Try to catch groups of words instead of isolated words. It's how native speakers naturally think and speak.
And lastly, don't be afraid to ask someone to slow down or repeat. Most people are happy to help.
Perfect tips. If you keep these in mind, understanding fast speakers will feel much less overwhelming. And to help you on your fluency journey, we've created a free PDF checklist and a daily English practice planner just for you. You can download it from the episode description, print it out, or keep it handy on your phone, whatever works best for your routine.
We also want to hear from you. Share your daily progress, routines, or tips by tagging us on Instagram at Talk2Fluency or using the hashtag #Talk2FluencyChallenge. We love seeing how you're growing with us.
And don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss an episode.
It's one of the biggest challenges, and we'll break down exactly why it happens and what you can do to finally feel confident during real conversations.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep listening, keep learning and keep speaking.
See you next week on Talk2Fluency. Bye for now.
Talk to Fluency from beginner to fluent.
Take your English skills to the next level.